sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone.
Lord, we don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb.
There are oceans and rivers
Enough to cross, enough to last
till the end of time. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone.
Lord, we don't need another meadow. There are cornfields and wheat fields enough to grow.
There are sunbeams and moonbeams enough to shine.
Oh, listen, Lord,
If you wanna know,
if you wanna know.
what the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love.
No, not just for some.
But for everyone. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love.
What
the world needs is love, sweet love.
What the
World needs love. What we need is love. Needs love, sweet love. What the world needs now. Clap your hands of love. Sweet love.
Welcome to AOL Build, you guys. I'm Laura. This is James, Andrea, and Seth.
Hi.
And we're going to talk about love today. Thank you for creating Broadway for Orlando, and what the world needs now is love. I'm thrilled that you guys are here and to hear about the creation of this project. So let's just dive right in. The world suffered a major tragedy on June 12th, and you guys jumped into action right away. James, you want to start?
Sure. It happened, of course, the day of the Tony Awards, and our show, Disaster, had a nominee, a good friend, Jennifer Simard, and so we were all excited for the day. But around 11 or 12, Seth came home from the gym. I normally watch the news, like, religiously every day, but I didn't watch the news that day, and he came in and told me what had happened. And I was in such shock, I just sat there and I just kind of disassociated, and because I just really could not believe it, and just went about our day and you know, had lunch with Jennifer and Faith Prince, and just kind of just went about our day, right? But the next morning I woke up, it was around 5 o'clock, Seth was asleep, and I just...
Oh, but he normally wakes up at 5 o'clock. That's the annoying part. Keep going.
And I thought, okay, well, normally I would turn on the news, but I couldn't do it. And so I went for a bike ride, and I had already been listening on Spotify on my phone, Dionne Warwick's version of What the World Needs Now is Love. And I decided before I took the bike ride along the Hudson River that I would just put it on repeat and just listen to it over and over again. And by the time I got downtown, I had the vision of that we need to do it a la We Are the World and bring the Broadway community together and sing it and get it out right away, because sadly, and really sadly, it has come true in the last few weeks that these tragedies, they get lost because another tragedy occurs. And I didn't want that to happen. I wanted us to get the song out as soon as we could.
Well, it is definitely clear that tragedy is constant in this world, and I think that one thing that's especially beautiful about this project is that the message applies across the board. And I have known this song for my entire life. I could have recited the words to it, but I'm not sure I ever really heard it until I heard your version. And I have been listening to it on repeat to the point where I had to step away from it because I was getting so emotionally affected. Seth, can you talk about your role in putting this together? I know you called all your Broadway friends and got them on board, and everyone agreed right away, and it came together fast.
First, it involved sleeping. So I was asleep when the whole thing came to his mind, and then when he got home, he called Broadway Records, and they agreed to do the whole thing, to produce the whole thing, and then he called Janet Billig-Rich, who got the rights, and literally I was still asleep. And then finally, like 8 a.m. or 8:30, he woke me up, and he was like, we need to do this ASAP. And I was like, excellent, I'll get on the horn. So I started just texting people, because for those of you that want to do projects, if you go through an agent or a publicist, 7 weeks pass, and you also find out no one ever knew about it. So I just directly texted everybody, and even though people get mad at you, I'm like, that's the only way you get a yes right away. So I texted Idina Menzel, and I think she was the first one, and maybe Sean Hayes was the second, and Billy Porter, and they all said yes right away. And once you get one yes, I mean, they wouldn't have needed big names to say yes anyway, but people get excited when you hear who else is doing it. So we began to text, and then I texted Mark Shaman, who wrote Hairspray, and he's done all these recordings, and I was like, James, I said, I'm too nervous to music direct the whole thing, because like I do Broadway, I don't really do recordings, maybe Mark can do the whole thing. So we met with Mark at 11 o'clock, and basically he wound up not really ever doing anything particularly per se because he wasn't really available, but he said he's graduated to the career of Yoda because he basically just gave me a lot of confidence. He was like, you can do it, you can do it. So he really just gave me the confidence.
He was our mentor. I mean,
yeah,
really
he
for that
helped me
whole
so
week.
much without actually conducting, because I kept thinking he was gonna have to be there at the session, but he's doing Mary Poppins and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So everyone started saying yes, and Andrea, and then I had to write the vocal arrangement, and I was in a panic about that, but I did the vocal arrangement, and then we got the orchestra, and I called the musicians union. I was like, we want the whole orchestra to work for free, and they literally laughed, no joke. They were like, ha ha. And I'm like, no, literally we do. Because, everyone, even when you do benefits, the orchestra will work for free, but what it means is you have to pay them, and then they'll give their checks back. So really no money is lost. But I said, we don't want to front the money. We don't want any money to change hands. We literally just want them for free. And sometimes they'll do that, but then you still have to pay pension and health. But the union finally agreed. They said, you literally don't have to pay anything, which was really incredible. So we got this full orchestra.
Yeah, we were really trying to do everything we could so that every penny of that download on iTunes or BroadwayRecords.com, every penny would go to the charity. And in
because
fact,
sometimes they'll say proceeds go to the charity, but we didn't want it to be like minus 40% for talent, hair and makeup. We wanted literally every single penny to go.
right, and Van Deen, who's the president of Broadway Records, who's also one of the executive producers of the song, talked to iTunes, and iTunes said, okay, we'll waive all of our fees. I mean, it truly is. When we say every penny, we mean every penny of that download on iTunes or BroadwayRecords.com goes to the charity.
So, Andrea, when did you hear about the project? Did you get a text from Seth?
When did I hear? Was it the next morning? Was it the sorry.
No, it had to be that morning because Sean Hayes, I'm sure Sean Hayes and you were texted at the exact same time.
Yeah, I mean, they're always texting me to do things, so I was
What, Seth, again?
yeah. So
Including, by
of
the way,
course.
clean our apartment, not joking. Yesterday was James's birthday. We had a surprise party. Andrew was literally in the backyard for an hour and a half sweeping, not joking.
I'm
gonna need to get your
I'd been
number.
at the Tony Awards the night before because I was nominated for Noises Off, and it was such a surreal experience to want to celebrate the success of something, but at the same time be shocked at the loss of lives. So the minute they called or texted, of course, you want to be able to do something. You want to get outside of your own realm of, I don't know, celebration and want to be able to do and use your actually your celebrity to do something. That's what's so fabulous about this whole thing, that we all were able to use whatever gifts we have and give back. It doesn't happen like that.
However, I was saying, just for one second, we didn't know, a lot of people didn't know they had solos or there was a video being made. So they would just show up and we just gave solos. And I remember Andrea wrote me right after the video was made and said, I watched the video and I cried because I wasn't wearing makeup. So just FYI, people just showed up because no one really knew what it was going to be. They just kind of came there.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Yeah.
Well, you had some real big names in there, like a lot of the single name stars. Like, you know, you have Cheetah, you have Kelly, you have Bernadette, you have Stokes, you have Orfeh, Audra. I mean, I feel like there are so many that I can't even remember them all. And then you have people who I think are not first associated with Broadway, but have become associated with Broadway, like Gloria Estefan and Carole King,
Rosie
and Sarah
O'Donnell.
Bareilles, and
Sarah Bareilles was the first solo. That was actually really smart on my producer's part because it was supposed to be, I had asked Adina Menzel, who was in LA, to sing the first solo, and Kristen Bell, and they recorded, you know, What the World Needs Now, the first solo, and they filmed themselves and recorded it. But then Michael Moritz, who was producing with me, said there's going to be a video made of this. And they made a video of themselves singing, but he said, what if it's some weird, horrible video? He said, the whole video will begin looking clanky. He said, they shouldn't sing the first solo. And I was like, they literally already recorded it and filmed it. What am I going to do? And then I realized, wait, it's the exact same lyric and melody as the middle. So I moved those clunkers to the middle, and I moved Sarah Bareilles and Carole King first so that it balanced out. So
and basically, they had no idea, right? Adina had no idea until she watched.
Right, she must have watched it. She was like, oh my God, they cut my solo. And then halfway through, she came in. Wait, can I say one more thing about Andrea? So I want to show the clip of Andrea videotaped because like no one was really aware they're being videotaped. And for some reason, when you're being videotaped, when you want to get the notes, like a lot of people sang like this. So you have to watch Andrea because Sean Hayes texted me. He said, if Andrea flaps her arms anymore, she's going to take flight. So I just want you to watch Andrea sing her solo here.
And hillsides enough to climb.
Watch the arms. Flap, 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 flap. Flap, flap, flap. All right. Just want you to watch that. So immature.
A little embarrassing. Well, I'm not really used to recording it. You know, everybody was so... I just wanted to make sure I wasn't flat
So nerve-wracking.
at all. Terrible.
Because everyone had like 2 takes. They learned it in 5 seconds and had like 2 takes because we had to do it between shows on a Wednesday. We had like such limited time.
Amazing.
watching all of those faces on the video, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love him, I love her, I love him. How did they get that guy? You know, but the moment, even in the 20th time I watched the video, the moment my tears break is always when I see your daughter, Julie. Because it reminds me that everyone who we lost was somebody's child. I'm so glad that you put her in there, even though she's not like a
Broadway name.
celebrity, but that's where it all comes home for me. And I'm sorry I'm getting so emotional, but
No, you know what though? I didn't realize it at the time, but I did a few days later that a big part of doing this, yes, it was to help the Gay and Lesbian Center in Orlando because they really are at the center of everything because of the victims and their families. They know this is a community center that's staffed by 4 people. And so that, of course, that's very really important, but there's also the message. And being a father, me and Seth, I have a 15-year-old daughter who's about to go out into the world on her own, even though I'm sure she'll be coming home a lot, asking for help and money. But ultimately, I wanted her to not lose a sense of hope. And I think that the way things are going in the world, that it was easy for me. I knew that if I didn't do something, I would go into a spiral of depression. And I'm an adult. I can't imagine being a child growing up in this world where there's just one thing after another happening. And I felt like the music, the lyrics, everyone coming together gives, when you listen to it, I think you cannot help but feel hopefulness and optimism in spite of everything that's going on in the world.
the fact that all of those people came together on such short notice with no pay and just said yes. The amount of power in that room, the amount of influence. This song, proceeds all went to the center in Central Florida, and the song went to #1 on the Billboard charts with no radio play.
iTunes charts, but Hot 100 on the Billboard chart.
Yeah.
But yes, with no radio play. That's what was the most shocking, that we got so high up in the radio play, and that's what we're trying to work on right now, is getting radio play so we can stay on that damn chart. He's working it. I want to just, one more thing I want to just show you. Just I keep trying to bring in the levity for just a second.
Yes,
so the whole
thank
last section, so the way, we were doing this so quickly, so I told my orchestrator, I said, just copy Dionne Warwick's version of the song. So the very end of her song, she just fades out going, what the world needs now, and it just sort of repeats very sweetly, sweet love. So that morning I was at the gym. By the way, it doesn't make a difference when I'm always there. I'm at the gym, and as I was walking out, this trainer was like, what are you doing? And I said, I'm recording this song for Orlando, and I was mentioning everyone there, and he said, well, nothing brings the gay community together more than a belted F. And I was like, totally true. And then I was like, oh my God, there kind of is no belting because it's all kind of mellow, the song. So I was like, oh my God, I'll do what I did for my hair CD with the end of Let the Sunshine In and have a riff fest. So instead of that sassy, kind of depressing fade out, I'm gonna have a big orchestration and everyone's gonna riff. So I wanted to just show you that section of all the riffs that we added. And by the way, that's the same moment where I happened to tickle Julie. So take a gander. Here it comes. Watch the riffing. We added this the last minute. Or Faye. Kayala. Carmen Cusack. Lilius. Tickle. Or Faye. F sharp. All right, if you want to hear any more, download it at iTunes. Thank you. It all goes to Orlando.
Hey, while we're talking about hitting specific notes, can you tell the Carole King story about...
Oh my God, I got sassafrased. Yes, you did your research. Okay, so, I was so overwhelmed. I really thought I couldn't do it. And like I said, Mark Shamey gave me the confidence to do this vocal arrangement. I'm in front of all these mega stars. But cut to, I forgot to have a keyboard like this. So I'm just teaching all the music by rote, as we say. So I'm like, people going, world needs now. I'm trying to teach the harmony. So all the men clear. And by the way, they said it was like an audition. We're like, men, we don't need you anymore. Ladies, stay. So all the ladies stay behind. And I was teaching this one section that went, if you want to know, that section. So, but by the way, I have no piano. So if you want to know, so I said, sopranos, you're going, whoa. And I said, if you want to know the notes, it's B, D, I. And then I said, altos, you're going G, G, B, D. And I said, lower altos, you're going D, 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 G, B. So I teach, and Carole King was like, I'm sorry, E, G, B. And I was like, first I'm like, I guess she's like an older lady. She can't quite hear that well. I was like, no, dear, D, G, B. And she goes, but you just sang an E. It's like, perfect pitch, horrible musician. So I was like, EGB people, EGB anyway. So that's why she's a genius and I'm not. Busted.
You are taking this beautiful number to Orlando.
Oh yeah, we just announced it.
Yes, just announced this morning, July 25th. You are headed to Orlando with some of the big names that are going to be, that are featured here and some additional talent. Talk about that.
Yes.
Give us all the details.
Well, it's going to be Monday, July 25th at the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center in Orlando. Huge theater, 2,700 seats, so come on down. But yeah, Jesse Mueller, Kayla Settle are literally leaving Waitress that Sunday, flying down there for the Monday.
Going to Disneyland that day. We already got them tickets.
Yeah, Jesse wants to make sure she goes to Disney World and then doing the show that night and coming back that Tuesday morning because it's so important for them to be there. But yeah, Lilius White is going to be there.
Yeah, Lilius White's there. I want Lilius to do. Have you ever heard of Don't Rain in My Parade? Okay, you got to Google it. And Cheetah's going to be there.
Yeah, Cheetah's
so
gonna
Cheetah
be
doesn't
there.
even know, but I either want her to do, or I want to begin the show with. But Cheetah doesn't know, but one or the other. Maybe we should do both.
But Carmen Cusack is going to fly in from LA. I mean,
Stokes.
We've got Brian Stokes Mitchell, Josh Henry. We've got a lot and more to come. But
Andrea can't do it because she's starring in a new sitcom.
Yeah.
What? Tina Fey.
It's not even that new. Difficult People on Hulu. Season 1 is already out. It's fantastic.
Oh, Difficult People, yeah.
Season 2 starts on July 12th.
July 12th on Hulu, yeah.
And
She's on
you're-
2 sitcoms.
In a world that needs love, also needs a lot of humor, and this is an incredible sitcom. Julie Klausner created it, and
Billy Eichner.
and Billy Eichner
Yeah,
is
yeah.
fantastic, and it's so smart and funny, and you are hilarious. So thank you.
Andrea's so funny, by the way, teaching her harmony. She's so hilarious. I was trying to teach her harmony, and she goes, you know what America doesn't got? Talent. Anyway, she's so hilarious.
So you're taking the show to Orlando.
Yes.
The proceeds all go to the center.
Yeah, talk about that for 1 second, James, because he spoke to the head of the center. Because you know more. Because people go like, well, what are the proceeds literally going to? Talk about that.
Well, one of the reasons why the center needs the money now is, you know, a lot of times in times of tragedy, whether it's 9/11 or Katrina, you know, everyone wants to give, and large organizations are created. But sometimes they're so large, as far as money is donated, that a bureaucracy of sorts occurs, and the monies are not going to be released to the victims or to their families until October 1st. And in the meantime, like for the next 3 months, people literally have to pay for food, rent. I mean, the director of the center, Terry DiCarlo, was in town 2 weeks ago, and he told us that one of the members of his center, he was being released from the hospital to come home to an apartment that, I'll start to cry, it was empty because 2 of his roommates were murdered, and he needed help paying his rent. You know, I mean, those things that you don't really think of, you know, and the center there is really all about that. So that's why the urgency is now as far as getting the money to them. And the great thing about the song is, like, we already sent them a check for $85,000 last week.
$85,000.
1 week.
What a testament to the power that the Broadway community has to come together. I think that this is going to be an example that hopefully is replicated over and over when the world needs it.
But Broadway Records has everything: the CD, the download, and the concert info. So that's kind of a central meeting place.
But I feel like the Broadway community continues to give back, and I feel like this is going to be just the beginning. And hopefully Broadway Records will continue to support. You guys will continue to text all your friends and get them to come together for projects like this. Hopefully this song will continue to get a ton of radio play, that will continue to sell on iTunes. I hope everybody here has bought it. By the way, hard copies are also available through Broadway Records. And is the concert in Orlando going to be available on DVD? Did I hear that?
That's what they're telling me. So we're producing the show. All those kind of things are, I don't know all the details, but that's what I've heard, that they're going to have a CD and a DVD made of the concert.
Wonderful. You want to play anything else for us while you got that piano in front of you?
Any requests? Any requests?
I want to hear Andrea sing.
Andrea? We didn't prepare anything.
Not happening.
Just sit down. I mean, what the? We don't have a song prepared. Although, wait. Just tell your, it's such a stupid story, but I'm obsessed with it. When Andrea was trying out for, they're playing our song back in 1980, you know, does a man make the music, or does the music make the man? A lot of times a voice teacher will say, open your vowel a little bit. Like, you know, sometimes people say me instead of me. So Andrea said her audition, does the music make the man? Her voice teacher said, open the vowel a little bit. And this was her audition for Broadway, and we'll see why she didn't get the part. Do you still remember it? Does the man?
Does the man make the music, or does the music make the man? Didn't get it.
Oh, thank you so much for indulging me. I totally put you on the spot. But as I mentioned before, in addition to love, what the world needs now is laughter. And you are one of our preeminent comedic forces.
Yes.
You're one of my favorite stage actresses. I've seen you in so many things that I've lost count. Also, your book is amazing and hilarious. So
Andrea Martin's Lady Parts.
Okay, well, this shouldn't be about me, but yes, HarperCollins.
Still got it.
I just want to congratulate the three of you and the entire countless number of people that came together in such short order to make this happen. The world is a scary place, and when we know that there are people out there with love in their hearts that outshines everything else, it makes me feel better about getting up in the morning and facing another day. So thank you.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
Haywood.
We're going to take some questions from the audience now.
Oh my God.
Hey guys, so thanks for being here, and it's so cool what you did. I went to college in Florida, and most of my gay friends came out in Orlando during college, so it's really cool. But my question's for Andrea. How was working with Megan Hilty and Noises Off first on Difficult People?
Oh, well, Megan was a huge fan of Difficult People, and so they asked her to be on it. That was so cool. We were rehearsing backstage as we were doing this farce on stage. The most extraordinary thing about working with Megan is that I'd be acting with her on stage, and then I'd think, oh my God, and she's got the most extraordinary voice and like that talent, because it's so separate from this comedic part that she played. She's so super talented and very humble and modest. It was fabulous working with her. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, I'm coming. Wait. Okay. Hi, guys.
Hey.
This is beautiful. Every time you guys like replayed it on the screen, I would get like chills in my back or whatever. But so my question is, since this is such a great message, would you guys ever come up with a message for Black Lives Matter?
Oh, wow, I'd love to. I was just reading someone online that was having a...
Yeah.
I would love that. I saw a really good post yesterday on Facebook that was like raging about those idiots that are like, all lives matter. And they were saying, that's like doing a benefit for lung cancer and saying, all cancer matters. It's just so stupid. So 100%. Yeah, I'd love to think about that. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I'm on board.
Yeah, I'm available.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for coming in. I really enjoyed the song. We're all kind of holding in our tears right now. So for my question for all of you guys, I know you guys received a huge amount of support. Was there a particular quote that you heard from somebody or where you kind of just like look back and say, wow, I'm so glad I did this?
Carole King?
For me, it was, well, out of all the people there, everyone was amazingly talented. For me, the biggest moment was meeting Carole King, because I've been a fan of hers since I was a kid.
Did the earth move?
And to have her come to me and say, you know, it's been a long time since I've been here. And I said to her, you mean you recorded in the studio? Because I'm like, wow, how cool. And she said, no, in a recording studio, period. She said, I don't write music anymore. I don't really sing anymore in a studio. And she said, but it feels good and it feels right to be here. And she gave me a big hug and said, thank you.
And she called him a mensch because she's Jewish.
So for me, that was a huge moment to get the validation of Carole King. Come on.
I mean, everyone said that. Everyone said, you know, we wanted to do something, but we didn't know what to do. So
Right.
it was really nice. It was the whole, when you help others, you can't help helping yourself. Like, everyone felt like, thank God I can do something.
And,
So,
you know, and to answer that a little bit further, I would say the two people that have expressed it since then the most are Rosie Perez and Chita Rivera, because so many people who were murdered were Puerto Rican, and so for them, it resonates even further, and especially Chita, both of them really. I've been talking to one of them almost every day since it happened, and they just want to do everything they can.
Chita was in the Gay Pride Parade in a convertible. It was amazing. She looks fabulous. But they've been so supportive. They'll do anything.
So we actually have to wrap up, but there are a couple more things that I want to do, and the first is to acknowledge Playbill's involvement.
They've been amazing.
Playbill produced the video and has been...
Full page ad in Playbill next month. They've done everything for us.
And you have written a couple of beautiful things for Playbill.com about the experience of putting this together and about the actual day of the recording. So everybody go check that out. But Playbill deserves a lot of credit, especially for that video.
They've been so great. Yeah, Mark Azofsky. Mark Azofsky edited and did everything in like 5 minutes.
And my other question for you is about Burt Bacharach. Has he been involved, or has he given you a reaction to this piece at all?
Yes. I wish you had the recording here. Do you have it?
Yeah, he actually called the day that we were doing Maya and Marty, the day after the song came out, and I got off the subway, and there was a message from Burt Bacharach, and he was calling from London, and he could not stop talking about it and how moved he was by it, and he said, I want you to call me, and he gave us
his cell phone number,
and we called him
which
in
is
London.
323. Okay.
And we talked to him, and what he said that was really touching to me was, he said, this song is different than We Are the World or even That's What Friends Are For. Remember That's What Friends Are For?
He wrote that.
80s. He co-wrote it, and he said the difference is this song is coming out in the wake of a tragedy. And he said that's what makes it even more poignant and more important and more vital to get that message out there. And
He kept thanking us, like, I'm so proud to be a part of it. I was like, you wrote the song, you are it.
Right, yeah, exactly.
He's been amazing.
Well, thank you guys. Let's keep this going. Let's keep the love coming for the whole world. Thanks everybody for being here. Thanks you guys.